So going back to your podcast, let's talk about your podcast. Like, what is your podcast about? Like, what kind of discussions are can someone find from your podcast?
Well, my podcast has grown in a very weird way. At the beginning, I started um, putting out there things about voiceover and voice acting, because when I started, I didn't find, because you know what happens with me? I used to look for things, and when I didn't find it, I was going to create it.
Mm.
You know, so when I was trying myself to be a better voice actor, or a better voice actress, I was looking for information, free information in Spanish, and I didn't find it.
Mm.
So at that moment, it was I started, my podcast has 2 years. So it was in last quarter of it was in 2018. So I was thinking about it like for over a year, but finally I decided to go with the flow, because I thought nobody's gonna listen to me. Who am I to be listened to? Because
Mm.
there is a lot of people out there that have more to say than what I have to say. But I didn't find those people, okay? I didn't find that information. I didn't find anything. So I decided to do it. So my podcast started as a tool for people who were interested in voice acting and in speaking as well, like
Mm.
how to put your mouth like this, or how to use your hands like that. And also I was going to talk about, that is my favorite part, I was going to talk about these emotions that comes with this kind of careers, because when you are like an accountant, if you make a mistake, it's like something can come and say, okay, this is your mistake, this formula is not well, you didn't do it well. But when it comes to speaking or painting or writing, it's very subjective, because what right now doesn't fit in 2 years could be the sensation. And you can say, for example, the same, if we talk about podcasting started like almost 11 or 12 years, but
Mhm.
it was just 2 or 3 years ago that everybody went crazy about it.
Mhm.
Clubhouse, for example, is an app that started like last year, but right
Mm.
now is it's like everybody's crazy about it. So sometimes it's just that the market is not ready for it, or the market is not ready for you.
Mm.
So I started talking about imposter syndrome, comparing yourself to others, or let's say, I don't know, like envy, those
Mm.
emotions that sometimes you just don't validate, and you just think that it's not good for you to feel that way, because that's the problem. I mean, if I tell you I feel so envious right now because you have that background, you know,
Mm.
I don't, you will say, oh my God, she's so open. But you can say that right now because everybody's so open and so vulnerable,
Mm.
because, after Brené Brown decided that vulnerability was something that we should embrace. But 5 years ago, I will say, oh my God, I'm so envious about your background. You will feel awkward, and I will say, oh my God, this person told me this, and you will judge me. So I started like in Spanish is democratizar, like being. I started to be more democratic with my
Mhm.
content, or more, that to be more democratic was to put my content into a democratic way, where other people will say, oh my God, I can connect to this, I feel envious
Mhm.
sometimes, I compare myself to others. I put myself down because I feel that somebody else is better than me. I have an imposter syndrome that is winning the battle.
Mm.
So I talk about that. And then second season, I started bringing other people to share their stories. Right now, I'm like in a transition where I'm still receiving stories, but I think that I'm going to twist a little bit, where I'm going to keep talking about stories. But I think that there are so many stories out there that are shared, but also there are so many topics that need to be, bring on the table, to put on the table. And sometimes if I don't find it, I have to be the person who is going to bring it. So I'm going to keep like this mixture in where I'm going to bring some people that are going to talk about their story. But I don't think that it's only going to be about their story, but about those emotions in their stories that I'm going to bring
Mm.
on. So, it's something like that.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think too
So
much.